April 26, 1986, 10-year-old Max Levchin and his family were living in Kiev, Ukraine, 90 miles south of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. While the Soviet government scrambled to cover up the scale of the disaster, Levchin's mother, a physicist, understood the radiation risk and immediately packed Max and his brother off to live with his grandmother in Crimea, hundreds of miles away. 5 years later, the family arrived in Chicago as Jewish refugees with just $700. The ruble had collapsed and the government had limited how much money people could take out of the country. Part of the experience coming to the US from a socialist country is that I just wasn't prepared for a lot of the things that existed here, good and bad, Levchin says. I got my first credit card a couple years after coming to America and promptly destroyed my credit, because I had no idea how to use this power tool. He's speaking on January 13, the day Affirm Holdings, the buy now, pay later fintech Levchin co-founded and runs as CEO, went public. Its shares doubled that day to $96, making the company worth $24 billion and his stake worth $2.5 billion. He's talking to Forbes from the Big Island in Hawaii, where he has been with his wife and 2 kids since the December holidays. He's shoeless, decked out in gym shorts and a black Affirm t-shirt. Wardrobe is the only thing even remotely laid back about this serial entrepreneur. A math prodigy with an immigrant's drive, he co-founded PayPal, which revolutionized online payments, at 23. His ventures include Yelp, where he was chairman until 2015, Slide, a media sharing service he sold to Google for $182 million in 2010, and Glow, a fertility tracking app. His obsessive fitness and cycling regimen, a far cry from what he describes as a sickly childhood, was the subject of a breathless 2014 feature in Men's Fitness magazine. Still, at 45, Levchin is arguably a late-blooming billionaire. Other PayPal founders, aka the PayPal Mafia, long ago reached 10-figure status. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman are worth a combined $190 billion today. Now Levchin has finally made it, too, thanks to the surge of online commerce during the pandemic and an insight he had nearly a decade ago. Drawing on his own early misadventures with credit, Levchin concluded that the then conventional wisdom, namely, that Great Recession scarred, student loan-burdened millennials were allergic to credit cards and consumer debt, missed the point. It wasn't debt or even, remarkably, high interest rates that turned them off. Instead, they hated certain aspects of credit cards, late fees, big banks remember Occupy Wall Street, and the fact that it was deceptively easy to rack up too much debt, particularly for those who didn't understand the way interest charges on revolving credit cards compound.